Hi. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Forget Your Roots podcast. So for this one, it's back to me and Dad. I'm back in the room. And this one kind of gets to, I think, the spirit of what we want this thing to be long term, or at least a very common segment of it. And then we have other ideas coming, fun stuff. I want to do some fun stuff on it, like some goofy stuff, and that I'm cooking that right now. But for this pretty much entire episode, and like I said, this will be a segment later on, I think. But we kind of dive into some national headlines in food. We talk about restaurant food prices and how they've gone up, grocery store food prices. As well as, again, McDonald's, they always show up. They have to. Honestly, I get tired of talking about it. And I'm sure that anyone who has listened every week probably gets tired of hearing their name. But they're relevant. I can't help it. But, anyway. This is a fun one. This is probably my favorite one to actually do as the one who's talking. It was a good time. Also, sorry about my voice. My allergies are awful right now. How does that make sense? It's snowing. It's snowing. How are my allergies? You know what? Forget about it. Enjoy the episode. Please like, comment, and share with your friends. Subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with when we upload, because my uploads are not always consistent. I shoot for Friday at noon some days. Sometimes I'm like days off. So, subscribing might help out to know when it actually happens. So, all right. Get into the episode. Welcome back to the Don't Forget Your Roots podcast. I am Jason.
I'm Darby.
As always, we haven't changed our names yet.
Not yet. Fame has not changed us at all.
True. No.
We are the same old people, same old losers we've always been.
No, and I'm surprised after, 100 views on a video, you'd think you'd get, weird and jaded and
cynical. Yeah, about just fame and paparazzi and whatnot. But
yeah.
No, at this point, I'm still out looking for cameras to jump in front of.
Clearly, yeah.
I've not fully experienced the result of the fame and the wealth that it brings. So I'm still looking. Still looking.
Yeah.
If you have a camera, I will travel.
What are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking. This episode is not brought to you by Old Elk Cigar Cut, which is, I think, quite good.
You think it's what did you say it was in like your top 5 or something?
Yeah, I did. Which is the latest thing that I drink tends to be there, but
yeah, recency bias.
But no, yeah, there is a recency bias generally, but no, I try not to. I try to leave the top 5 kind of. That's a sacrosanct position. So yeah, it's still there.
It's a good one, man.
It's still there.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just the complexity of it and the warmth. It's nice.
It's almost salty on the front end.
Yeah,
and there's almost no sweetness.
No,
I don't think it's very sweet at all.
I agree, which is probably why I like it, because I like that peppery, more tannin flavor profile. And I don't remember what the alcohol content on this one is.
I don't know. I could guess.
And my eyes aren't good enough to read that right now. So
I could guess, but that 111 proof.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. But now that I remember we've had this before, and thinking back on it, that it's shocking that it's that high, because it's deceptive.
It's warm down here. It's definitely warm down here,
but it doesn't
bite your
close your throat.
No, it's good stuff.
Yeah, very good one. Yep. This was at what used to be Fred's in Winchester.
Oh,
yeah. There was a couple bottles left, and a friend of mine was nice enough to pick this one up when I was not able to get over there. So here we are drinking it.
Love it. What is today? The 14th. When's Valentine's Day?
Today.
That's today.
Yeah.
You got any big plans?
Yeah.
Not today, but just for the season in general.
Amanda and I are going to go out on Friday evening. But yeah, I don't have huge plans.
Well, that's big enough.
Valentine's for us. In our history, we've been married for 20. It'll be what, 27 years?
27.
Yeah.
Yep.
27 years, and we've been together for 28. So it's you would think that you would run out of affection or whatever, like that you would wear it down, or just you'd come to the end of it. And it's just a weird thing that it goes through phases where sometimes you're more appreciative or less appreciative of it at different times. But overall, it's amazing that you keep finding new things to enjoy about one another or to respect in one another. And sometimes it's things that when you're in a relationship and it starts, typically the thing that you are most smitten with will be the thing that within 5 years you're the most annoyed by. That's the way it works. Like whatever you think is, oh, that's so cute. Yeah. 5 years in, you're like, oh, you're just still doing that. Like, but it is just an amazing thing though, that over time, people change and they develop and they adapt and evolve and grow and sometimes even regress, not even grow.
Sure.
Everybody thinks like, oh, you're growing, but sometimes you're not. You're actually going backwards. But the fluidity of life together, it just, something that you used to just hate about somebody or whatever, like you learn that, oh, well, that was just the way I was perceiving it or how it was affecting me. And now I actually respect that more than, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, I do.
Like even through the changes, you just find new things to love.
That's awesome. So what are you guys doing? Where are you going? Yet? Or are you just gonna?
We have reservations. Yeah, we are going to Smith's Boathouse in Troy.
Nice.
That's one of our favorite places. Not pretentious, good, very high quality. They execute at a very high level, reasonably priced for what you get. But just not pretentious. Nothing on there that you're like, oh, that shouldn't be there, or oh, they just did that for a look. Or
that's what. That's funny that you say things like that, because that is one thing that we all tend to do at restaurants. We pick apart the menu. We pick apart how the way it's oriented, the decor, everything. That's just the world we're in. So it's like, whereas some people might not look at the menu and think like, oh, that menu item seems pretentious.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just kind of a
show off.
That plagues us, where we can't not pay attention to it.
Yeah. No, that is true. And
that's to say, so like when a restaurant is impressive, that's high praise. Not that I'm not saying that like my praise is worth more than anybody else's, but in our minds, like, that means that we really, really like the place. If we, because we scrutinize everything.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Yeah. No, and it's not and I don't scrutinize it in order to assess it even. It just comes natural.
Right. Yeah. It's constantly what's on your brain.
It is. And a lot of it is in order to apply it myself or apply something the opposite or what
exactly
to serve our own customers.
Yeah. To glean some sort of inspiration from it.
Yeah.
So, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. And, looking forward to it.
Cool. So today I did some reading. Do you have anything that you want to talk about before we get into some specific news related topics? Is there anything you want to bring up? Anything you want to shed some light? I don't know. You know more what's going on behind the scenes with us and with Union City and the community than I do. So I always, would like to give you
Oh, I get
opportunity
that.
to talk
I
about
understand that.
anything if there's anything that you think is pressing or interesting going on right now.
No. I mean, there's always little things that I find intriguing and interesting and insightful and hopeful and all those things. But I'm down for whatever. What you got? This is exciting.
Okay, so let's find this first one here. All right. So everybody obviously knows that food prices are ridiculous.
Especially at Save a Lot. I mean, that's the rumor. That's what I hear.
Yeah. And now why do you think that is? Let's before we get into
I was
this,
just gonna
stop.
yeah. Like, so that might deserve a little attention.
if you say that, and I know that you were just there getting something the other day
I did,
and noticed yourself that something was abnormally expensive. Why do you think that is?
Okay. I think that there's a common perception that it's price gouging or whatever you want to call it.
Of course, yeah.
That's the first thing that people think typically is like, oh, if I have to pay $1 more for something, then they're gouging. That must be that they're getting that extra $1.
And we address that a little bit. If you want to hear us talk about the concept of like price gouging as opposed to, I assume what you're going into next, we dive into it pretty deep in the 4th episode that we did.
Sure. Yeah.
The real motivations behind why certain things are priced so high when a lot of people think it's price gouging when it's probably not.
Yeah.
So
I think that it's okay. So I'm just going to give you brought it up that I was there. And so some people are going to think, oh, were you there buying, bread? What were you there buying? Cause I don't trust anything there. Okay. I was there because we had a catering order where they specifically asked for chips, and they at Save a Lot carried that brand of chips. And so why would I, what normally our distributor would bring it in a case, and the only difference would be that it would come in a bigger case for less money from our distributor, because we're not like baking the potato chips or frying them. We're buying like Lay's potato chips or whatever they're asking for. And so, which is a concession that we make in general, just chips, whatever. Because
pretty common.
Yeah. So I went there because it was a last minute order and we were running low. So I went there. So I got one of these big boxes, like the kit of 18 in a pack or whatever, a box. And it was definitely more expensive than we would get it from our distributor. Definitely more expensive than I would get it at Walmart, or, if I went to Winchester or Greenville, bought it at Walmart. However, so the first thought that crossed my mind when I went and it was rung up, because I was in a hurry and I didn't even look at the price, because it didn't matter to me. I had to have them for an order. Yeah. So it didn't matter. It was irrelevant at that point. So I went to check out and she told me the price and I was like, oh, wow, that's like 40% probably higher than what I could get at Walmart, and half.
That's significant.
Twice as much as I would get it from our one of our distributors. And so I was like, wow, that's a lot. And then as I was walking out, I was thinking about it. How many people in Union City are buying boxes of Lay's potato chips? Like, how many of those boxes are they selling before they go out of date and have to be pulled from the shelves? Like, in other words, the idea, I paid not for the bag of chips. It's like, well, man, if you pay 75 cents for a bag of chips that should only cost you $0.25 or whatever, like, I wasn't paying for the bag of chips. I was paying for the fact that I had a catering order due in a half hour and didn't have to drive to Greenville or Winchester to get it. So why would I complain that they cost more when I should be thankful that they had them? It's the wrong question we're asking. Why is it costing so much at Save a Lot? The right question is, why is Save a Lot here? Why are they still able to be here when everything else has failed? That's the real question. And so I think that to me is the big answer. Like, I was paying for the convenience of them having that there available for me when it's such an off the wall item. But then also the fact that I'm paying for the shrinkage because they might have to dispose of a whole box. So basically they made half as much on that because they threw one of those boxes away. You know what I mean? So those kind of things. I think that's some of it. And I don't know all of what the rules that they have and agreements they have with the, Frito-Lay or the stocking fees and all those things. I don't know. I don't pretend to know how all they work those things out. I'm just saying from my perspective, I could see why it would be more expensive because you're not selling as much here, and it's just sheer convenience that they would have that here at all.
No, that's true.
I wouldn't have wanted to have to try to give our catering clients full-size bags away. Like, the fact that I could get them was
to get them at all
was exciting to me. Cool. I didn't want to go to Pack-a-Sack and have to spend. You think 50 cents is expensive for a bag of chips? We'll go to Pack-a-Sack and buy 20 of them at $1.50 for that size. Like, so that's long answer for your question.
Well, yeah.
What do you think?
Good answer. No, I was asking you your thoughts. I think that's exactly right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the convenience of having.
You can disagree. I mean, I'm just.
I could, but I don't mean,
not in this particular instance.
No, I don't think there's a reason to. Okay. So back to the original topic. I read an article on CBS News. Inflation is cooling. So why are food prices from steak to fast food meals still rising? Now, interesting statistic that was in here, that there's a couple of them. One that really caught me, and it does, from what I could tell, this article gives no, it asks the question, why are food prices still rising? It never answers it, of course.
Yes.
Clickbait. Yeah. I mean, it gives, the general ideas of, like, one side thinks it's greedy corporations, one side blames the Biden administration. Like, that was pretty much what it came down to by the end.
Yeah.
But
always.
We're here to speculate.
Okay. I love that.
That's what we're here for. So interesting statistic is here. Let me just read this little excerpt from it. The CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. The CPI, a basket of goods and services typically bought by Americans, measures two types of food purchases: groceries and food away from home, or restaurant or other prepared meals. Both are rising, but restaurant prices are increasing at a faster pace, jumping 5.1% on an annual basis compared with a 1.2% increase in grocery costs. That's the first thing that I would like you to speculate on, and I will, help. But why do you think that restaurant prices are rising that much faster, that much higher?
I think there's a couple of obvious reasons right off the bat. Number one is labor. In my mind, that would probably explain the whole thing right off. I mean, without even having to go much farther, the rising labor cost to have people working in your restaurant versus working in a grocery store. Grocery stores are going to self-checkout. Grocery stores pass along a lot of their costs to the suppliers, like, once again, through like the stocking fees and those kind of things. But now all that, don't get me wrong, all of that eventually affects the cost of food at home and food away from home. But I think that the number one thing would be the difference in the amount of labor needed per restaurant versus so in other words, if you go labor per square foot, there is more in a restaurant than there is in a grocery store. That would be by far. And so the costs of each, and then the hidden costs of each employee, let alone the wage difference, but also that they have to carry far more shrinkage. My guess would be that the cost of goods in general would be higher, because I think that the immediate effect of shrinkage would be different, like food waste. When you're taking, so the restaurant can't eat that cost, the shrinkage cost. It gets factored in. So like with us, if we do brisket, everybody's like, why is brisket so expensive? Brisket is expensive because beef is expensive, and brisket is a very limited part of the cow in the front there. And so when they cut that off, there's just a small one per, or a couple, like those cuts per cow. So it's just not a very big, it's like bacon on a pig or something. It's just not that much of it. So there's scarcity of the actual raw product, but then also when you prepare it, there's the shrinkage. And so at a restaurant, you buy a brisket raw, and then you cook it down. Well, you might lose 50% of it to fat. Like, that's a lot. I mean, 40 to 50%. And so you bought something at, say, for instance, $4.50 a pound raw. But if you had to sell that per pound, you bought that at $9 a pound before you do anything else. Before you even factor in the fact that you had to take it out of the wrapper and do anything to it. You pick that up or have it dropped off from a supplier, and as soon as they drop that brisket off at your back door or bring it into your back door, you might have bought that at $4.50, but anything you're going to do to it automatically is $9.
Yep.
Crossing the threshold of the door, it doubled in price, because what are you going to do with it? You got to cook it, and as soon as you cook it, you've lost all of its fat and the shrinkage. So, in the water, just that's what we call shrink. So all of that. So that grocery store, food at home, you're not figuring that. Nobody, if I go to the grocery store, or my wife goes to the grocery store and says, I think I'm going to make a brisket for our, for Memorial Day or whatever, or I know such and such the husband loves to smoke brisket, I'm going to buy a brisket for him and surprise him, and we'll have brisket this weekend. She buys that at $4.50 a pound or $5 a pound, whatever. They don't even know to measure the shrink, because it doesn't matter.
Right.
They just need to know
the more hands that it touches before it gets to the consumer increases the price. Every time.
In addition to just the shrinkage itself. So even, so now you got all those.
I'm saying that the consumer doesn't have to account for the shrinkage.
No.
In terms of
nor do they have to account for the fact that you're paying someone to touch it versus you or your wife handling it. You're not paying to touch it, prepare it, whatever. Nobody's getting paid. Nobody's getting paid to mop the floor after you eat it. Like all those things. So I think that's definitely why restaurants, the price, if a grocery store is raising prices, you would not typically expect a restaurant to be able to not do it. If they aren't, they are cheating the system, and I don't think they could do it for long. I don't think they can do it long term. Some people, are like, oh my gosh, it's cheaper to eat out than it is to eat at home. It never is.
No,
ever.
It's not.
It's
not.
It just isn't.
That's
because you can't consistently do that, and it will not consistently work. That statement.
Right.
So then it's not. If you can pull a hole in it anywhere, you can poke a hole in it everywhere, and so it's not. But I understand what they mean. In certain situations, exactly what I want, I could go and get it cheaper than I could buy it, make it, whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, food at home by its nature has to be cheaper than food away from home.
Yeah.
And we dabble in both of those. So we kind of have an understanding of how both the numbers work on those. I don't know if that answered your question or not. It's just what came to my mind when you said it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was good. It was informative for sure. Why do you think it's going faster though, or higher? Why do you think it's higher than grocery stores? Like, why do you think it's growing more? Because that's the increase rate. That's not like the
labor costs. Because people, I think it's
So that
was the original thing I said.
You touched on labor cost.
Yeah.
Why is that increasing?
Because
rather than staying static.
Well, because people can realize that they can go out and get a job doing something else. In fact, People will go from a restaurant to literally Walmart.
To Walmart.
They're like, I
Yes.
can go work at Walmart and make $17 an hour right now.
Yep. And have a much easier workload and not as much stress.
Not as much. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yep.
And so, yeah, no, that's it. And so then if a restaurant's going to keep Walmart from getting their employee, they're going to have to pay more. So, you know, well, Walmart has outsourced, I don't know, 30% of their labor costs to the actual consumer.
Yes. Yeah.
And to the
absolutely.
And even added up even more to the suppliers that have to stock their own shelves.
That's interesting.
Walmart's labor costs are shrinking.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is paying it.
Yeah. So I don't have I'm really interested in that really. Actual statistic. I don't have a Jamie. If you watch the Joe Rogan Experience, you know, but like, you know, I can't say like, Jamie, pull that up for me. I'd have to look it up on my phone, and I'm not going to do that. But the actual,
where's our team? Where's our production team?
This is ridiculous. I need a producer, man.
I mean, we don't even have anybody on the other side of our window. We have traffic on the other side.
Oh yeah, that's just a window with a curtain on it to block the light.
Like, we'll get there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're right though. But yeah, I would like to know actually, like, what's the actual, how much labor cost has Walmart cut on average per store from putting in self-checkouts? But no, that is true, because, and to anybody who is, I know there are a lot of people who are genuinely angry about the self-checkouts, you know?
Oh yeah,
like very mad that that Walmart is cutting employees and not letting more people work or whatever, cutting jobs.
For sure.
That is a really good point, actually, that I hadn't thought about till you said it. But do you want to pay more for your groceries? Because the food costs are up no matter what.
Yeah.
Walmart has nothing to do with how much they have to charge for the food.
No, in fact, they are deliberately, constantly ruining entire industries by shoving the prices down, by demanding that they do it for cheaper.
Yeah.
So I mean, part of the reason the food system is what it is right now is because of the downward pressure of Walmart.
Right.
Like, okay, you can only go so cheap before you literally have to replace food with chemicals. Chemicals are cheaper than food.
Oh yeah.
So if I got to make a jar of pickles at a certain price point, and I used to use natural vinegar or whatever, now I can throw in a different thing. Or my pickles used to last a month, and now I need them to last 6 months to meet their stipulations. And now I got to use chemical additives and preservatives. So yeah, Walmart is pushing the costs down constantly.
Yeah, it's cheaper to add chemicals to increase shelf life than it is to increase production of
real food.
So that
exactly.
You can keep the fresh circulation up.
Yeah. So I mean, in other words, it's like, okay, Walmart, I want cheaper prices, and they're like, okay, we'll give you cheaper prices, but we're going to give you crap for that price because that's all we can do.
Yeah.
But we know that you value money over your life or your health.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I agree with you. What your point was.
Now, yeah, if you could trace, yes, you could trace it all the way back to Walmart screwing the system up to begin with. But
I think so.
But on this level, it's like, okay, would you rather?
Yeah. Now that we're here.
Yeah. Now that we're here, because if you wanted to go back that far, you'd have to crush Walmart, and if you crush Walmart, no one gets food.
No.
Like
the food system's done.
Yeah, you can't just level the whole thing.
Nope.
So under the current system that they built, understandably, they built it. But what do you want them to do? Do you want them to hire more employees to run the checkout? Which personally, I like the self-checkout.
I know a lot of people that do.
I love the self-checkout, but would you like them to hire more employees, or would you like your food costs to be lower?
Yes, because I guarantee you
in grocery stores.
Because I guarantee you that people cost more than computers.
Absolutely. No question.
Because you're also, the people are using the computers.
And
so,
yeah,
they're even checking you out. They're doing what you're doing. People will cost more than the food. So yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. Restaurants.
Yeah. What's the labor cost percentage? In your total costs, what is your restaurant pay and labor.
Typically, you would want to keep it in like the 30% range, all labor costs. That's a traditional number. A lot of times it has to go up now because people are like, God, I'm at 40%. So if there's 100, you can't make 110% of a pie.
Yep.
And so if you've only got 100% of your pie and you used to be able to get by with labor costs at 30%, now they're at 40%, you have to figure out where you're going to come up with that other 10%. Like something else has to make up that 10%, whether it be, okay, I got to cut back on the cable package for the TVs, or I got to cut down on electric, or I got to cut down on my food costs, or I just don't get a profit anymore.
Or you have to raise your prices,
which is to make it up. Which
this is saying is happening. Exactly. I mean, 5.1% increase.
There you go. See how you brought that back around. I like that. Yeah, exactly. That is the issue.
So now that we talked about that, I got to find the other interesting spot. Oh yeah, we've kind of touched on a little bit, but that was interesting too, just for everyone out there. This is the same CBS article. Supermarket prices are 25% higher than in January of 2020, while inflation has increased 19% over that same time. And I mean, the point of this whole article is that inflation overall is starting to go down or increase at a lower rate.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not going down.
Yeah, increase at a lower rate, but food prices are still continuing to rise at an increased rate.
Yeah. And
despite the inflation.
And so I don't know exactly what that is, if that's what that also could be. Fuel costs.
Yeah.
Oil, everything. We eat oil. So, even though think about the last thing in a chain. Think about a value chain. So the value chain for Doritos, we won't even use like real food. We'll use ultra processed food.
Fake food. Yeah.
Let's say Doritos, an ultra processed food like product, not food. It starts as field corn. And
I promise I'm listening. I'm
I don't care.
Point, but I'm just telling everybody I'm not like tuning him out. I am listening.
You're just being rude. What a rude listener.
I'm multitasking right now. I don't have a Jamie. So
yeah, no Jamie. Okay, well, we'll find one. Any Jamies out there looking for a job?
We can't pay you.
Yeah, you can intern, which means basically work for free to learn nothing. Because we need you to be competent off the bat.
Yeah, we don't know anything, so you won't learn anything from us.
No, in fact, we will intern for you.
There you go.
Like you come at your expense, do your job, and we will intern as podcast hosts.
Yeah. Any Jamies out there that want to do it?
That want to do that? Take us. Yeah, we're at your service.
All right. Anyway,
so it starts as corn. That corn is trucked to an elevator. So from the farmer pays the trucking on that, the fuel for their grain trucks to haul it from their grain bins to a grain elevator. Then that grain elevator is going to put it either on probably on rail car. And so then it's more diesel, more fuel, and it's going to be shipped to a processing plant. They're going to break that down, and then they're going to ship that to the plant that actually is going to manufacture the Dorito. And so then all of the other ingredients that are going to go into that Dorito are following a similar path from whatever raw product they were. They're being trucked to that factory. And then once they make the Dorito, then they've got to put that on a truck to go to someone's warehouse. So whether it be Amazon or Walmart or whatever, or the food distributors, all the main Cisco and US Foods and all them. I mean, those bags have to go somewhere, Kroger. And then when you think about that, the last person down the line at every level, everything is designed to push that price down at every level. So the farmer learned to get by cheaper. The trucking companies, learn to make less per mile. The processors get the price down. Walmart's talking to the distributors and the actual manufacturers and saying, get the price down. And so the last person at the end of the value chain, you know, you think about it and it's like, well, they are the one that can tweak it. They're the only ones that really can tweak it. Right? I mean, because there's nobody pushing them. There's nobody forcing them. By that point, public opinion is all that's left to push them.
Yes.
Walmart stands at the middle of consumers and producers.
Mm-hmm.
They are that middle person. And so like they can tell the producers, we need you to make it for cheaper. And they control so much of the market that the producer is tied. They have to.
Yeah.
Where else are they going to go? I mean, now maybe they can go to dollar store or whatever, but still they're going to be even worse.
Yeah.
So like, you know, so I just think, okay, so Walmart's telling them, and then Walmart can do whatever they want with those prices. They can jack them up. They can make them lower as long as their customers will accept it. Walmart, in other words, Walmart can gamble. They're in a position where they can gamble on public opinion.
Yeah.
Who's going to know better? It's Walmart. They are the standard bearer. They are the, what's the word I'm thinking of? They are the benchmark.
Yeah.
Of what customers in general in America think is the value proposition. They are, I can go to Walmart and get it for that.
Yeah.
So that is the benchmark that people use in their mind to decide if I'm paying too much or too little for something. You know, or maybe even like an Amazon, same thing. You know, so I feel like that might be part of that. Like you can, at the end of the whole thing, you're kind of the last one that can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that fuel is in the middle of each one of those stops, just adding cost. If fuel prices go up, insurance is a hidden one that nobody knows about, but I know those rates are through the roof. Good Lord. So, I mean, I just think there's a lot of hidden things that that don't get advertised.
Right. And it would take a whole lot of, it would take a book.
Yeah.
To highlight all of it.
People much smarter than me.
Right.
That's why we're sitting here guessing.
That's why you read them.
Yeah.
Because
I read a lot.
There are tons of books that I'm sure probably do highlight everything that's making, in 2 years, there's probably going to be a bunch of books about this specific topic,
Yeah, probably.
This exact year and why food prices. There's books come out all the freaking time, and they're,
But it also might be a time where in the middle, because this is something that I've seen people say within the food industry, in journals, trade journals and stuff, that this might be a time when they can do what they would consider a corrective. Like, people are used to paying more right now. We've broken the system. Let's start taking baby steps back toward getting it where it needs to be. It is unrealistic for people to spend 6% of their income on food. They should be spending 10% or more. Everybody else in the world is. We have been led down a terrible road since the 70s of expectations of cheap food so that we can afford expensive iPhones. Nobody else in the world gets to live like that.
Yeah.
So that might be.
That's interesting. I don't want to try to find which article it is. I have a few pulled up, but it might have been a Purdue one. I've read a couple today, just prepping for this, but I believe it was a Purdue article that said the average people like below God, what was the income level? Like $45,000 a year. People at $45,000 a year or below are spending about 25% of their income on food.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
People who are making
from traditionally
228,000, I think is what they are spending about 3.5% of their income on food.
And I guarantee that's better food
probably
than the 25% that the bottom's eating.
Yeah, probably so. And that is funny because I also read something. So there's a Fortune.com article. McDonald's CEO sees a McFlation battleground with customers revolting over $8 chicken sandwiches and $3 hash browns. So that goes back to what you said with Walmart, where they can gamble with public opinion. Walmart has been gambling with it for a while.
They have
for the last year or two, I would say. I mean, they always have been. They've they've been the chicken selects when they came out like 10 years ago or 15 years ago were big chicken strips. And then everyone always said like, oh, they're getting smaller and smaller. They've been doing that forever. Yeah. But this specifically, there was a TikTok that went viral of somebody complaining about a $3 hash brown, and it's a potato.
Yeah.
I agree with complaining with that.
Oh, no.
It's a crappy potato at like the bottom of the barrel fast food restaurant in terms of quality.
Well, yeah.
Like
you look, okay. So what exactly is a McDonald's hash brown? When you think about it, I mean, let's think about this.
Yeah. Break it down.
In my opinion, a McDonald's hash brown was a way, and I'd have to look. I mean, I guarantee there's somebody that knows it and it's in a book somewhere, because I could probably read it and figure it out. But just guessing by what I'm looking at when I eat one, bite into one, my guess is that that's where all of the byproduct and all of the nasty parts of the potato that they use when they're making French fries end up. And then they form them with a chemical process in a factory. They form them together, bread them, make them, tasty through all the fat and everything that they fry it in. But when you bite into it, every other bite is like a black spot, like a mushy black eye of a potato.
No, that's
like,
true.
What on earth is this?
That's true.
Well, then also, like, you get one, and I quit getting it because it's like, God, I don't want my hash brown to taste like fish. I don't want it to taste like fillet of fish. It's like, God, change your oil once in a while. Like,
yeah, the oil is.
And so, like, what is a hash brown? I think they just fold all that and just mash all that in together, all those little potato chunks, all the leftover crap, form it into a hash brown, like they do with chicken nuggets, because that's what chicken nuggets are. It's all the extra crap, and then they just extrude it and mill it up into mush and slime, the famous pink slime, reform it into chicken, like, so it looks like it's a piece of meat that it isn't.
Yeah,
I think that's what a hash brown is, except from potatoes.
Might be.
I don't know.
I'll probably look it up after this and find
It'd be worth knowing, because the quality of a hash brown is not what the quality of a fry.
That information's out there. I guarantee it. Like, if you're interested,
and that's just smart.
I'm gonna be looking it up after this.
That's just smart. I mean, that would be smart business, because you don't waste not want not. You don't want to waste the byproducts of the French fry making process.
Mm-hmm.
So you just take all that scrap that's left over, haul it to a different part of the factory, and here you go, hash browns.
Yeah, like $18 Big Mac meal in Connecticut.
Yeah, I saw the McDonald's article like that, and I think that they are in a more precarious position than almost anybody, far more than Walmart. Mm-hmm. Walmart they were smart. They destroyed all competition before they started pulling any shenanigans. I mean, they were the classic bait and switch on a global scale. Oh, we care about the community, and we care about our customers and all those things. And I mean, there's books. I've read quite a few books on Walmart. I mean, you think about what they were and the public stigma that they had to try to overcome in the beginning. And so it was like, oh, the 0 question return policy. I mean, you don't have to have a receipt. You don't have to have a package. You could play with the thing in the sandbox and bring it back, and we'll take it. No questions asked, give you a full refund. Now it's like, bring your birth certificate along with you if you want to exchange a pair of pants or something. Like, it just, and I'm exaggerating, obviously, but that's kind of the service level. And then, they had 25, 30 checkout lanes with people at them, and now they don't. And, just all the things that they've done through the years. And, they put out of business a lot of the mom and pop things and moved a lot of life and business and commerce from the downtowns to the edges of towns. They are responsible for a lot of that. Mm-hmm. You have a McDonald's, or a Walmart parking lot and there's going to be strip malls either in that lot or across the street. And now you got all the haircut places. You used to have a barbershop downtown. Now you got a Great Clips next to Walmart.
Yeah. Always.
Walmart itself is almost single-handedly responsible for killing the downtown of small America.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's being unfair or
no, I don't think
or hyperbole. I don't think that's just being shock value. That is just legitimate, and there's lots of books that have documented it.
Yeah,
with numbers, with dollars and cents.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to make. That a lot of times you could say that's hyperbole, but I think it's pretty safe. I mean, I'd say it's Occam's razor-esque, where it's pretty safe to assume that if somebody is the biggest in something, you can assume that they pretty much shaped it, the current system, how they wanted it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be there.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. No, I think that's right. The simplest explanation is probably the right one.
Is probably the right one. I mean, the way that
if Walmart expanded the same time that downtowns died,
yeah,
there's probably a reason.
Yeah, it's probably because Walmart was responsible for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Downtown didn't kill itself so that Walmart could step in and say,
it's not even, and it's not just coincidence or correlation. Correlation is not causation. In this case, I think that it's been done enough on a big enough scale of
when you're talking about food and how people survive. I think that, I mean, it's important enough of a thing that I don't think coincidence probably really ever happens.
No,
it's too calculated.
We've talked about that.
We've talked about it. Yes, a food policy.
So I mean,
the government wouldn't let it be accident.
No,
that's not conducive to
anything they want to break up, they figure out how to break up. So if something is happening, usually it's because the government's letting it.
Yeah.
And at a big scale, you can't even say that it's not because you're flying under the radar. Walmart is not flying under the radar of anyone and hasn't for quite a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as they went national, they were not under the radar anymore. And then when they got into food, they definitely were not under the radar. So, but I think that they are able, because they were smart and they did all of this stuff over a period of 30 years, they have made people so dependent upon them that it is very difficult to hate Walmart and yet not shop there. So you might hate them and you're still shopping there because you have very little other choices. And so McDonald's is not in that situation. McDonald's is not the only player in town.
Yeah.
They started out crappy. I mean, on the low end of food service.
Yes.
When they decided to go national, they started out on the low end of fast food and the driving the prices down and all of that, and have never deviated from that.
No.
That's been their model from the beginning. And so anybody that wants to play in that playground just plays by those rules. And that's where McDonald's is figuring it out. Right now, every segment of prepared food, so food away from home. So you got food at home, food away from home. Food at home is food that you would eat at home, particularly if you bought it at a grocery store or a deli and took it home and ate it, whatever. Food away from home is restaurants. Basically.
Yeah.
So you figure food away from home, all of those are down. And so that also could be a reason that prices are rising, because
we have talked about that before.
People are buying less. So the ones that are remaining there to buy have to spend more because the restaurants can only afford to drop so low. So if I need $1,000 a week, a very ridiculously low number, if I need $1,000 a week to survive and 100 customers used to spend $10 a week to give me that, and now I only got 50 customers. Well, now I need to squeeze $20 a week out of those 50, not 10.
Yeah.
So I raise my prices.
Yeah.
Because the odds of being able to go out and just drum up 50% more business or 100% more business is not legitimate.
There's really there's no other option.
No. And so McDonald's, they're in kind of a lose situation, because all food industry is down right now in terms of food away from home, in terms of revenue, because people just are eating out less because they're just don't have as much money, or they're more nervous and don't want to spend it on that. so they're saving or whatever. Fast food is getting hit the second hardest. The hardest hit is the casual dining, just Applebee's, Chili's, whatever. Those are the hardest hit, or the sit down mom and pops. Those would be worse. Those would be harder hit than Chili's and all that. The independents, but just think, sit down, waitress comes, server comes, takes your order, all that. Like that casual dining experience is getting hit the hardest. Like places are closing like crazy. I don't off the top of my head. I don't.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, figure that out whenever you come and we become your interns.
Yeah.
But the second worst is fast food. Mm-hmm. The third worst is fast casual.
So like
think Chipotle, Panera, McAllister's, Mod Pizza, whatever. Qdoba. Then the least affected right now are coffee shops, specialty coffee. That has been affected the least. It's almost everything has dropped some. Coffee shops have almost dropped none.
Yeah.
People are still buying their coffee. And so, but the second best position to be in right now is fast casual, because here's why. If I'm going to go out and spend $10 on a Big Mac, I'd rather go out and spend $10 or $12 on a Chipotle burrito.
Yep.
I'm going to treat myself. Or if my life's going to suck now because I have less money, I'm going to go to the coffee shop and I'm going to buy a cupcake. They say that these treats have risen. Midday treats have gone up. So people are medicating with sugar. That's also one of the reasons that the coffee shops are higher. Because I can't afford to go out to Texas Roadhouse, but you know what? I can afford $1.50 cupcake.
I can afford this immediate fix, like something to make me feel good or get me through the day.
Exactly. So I go get me a coffee exactly. And so, McDonald's, they just don't have the room to play. They are known as the bottom of the barrel. And so in economic hard times, the ones that are so poor, like there's an old Alabama country song, somebody told us Wall Street fell. We were so poor we couldn't tell. Those people aren't going out to eat ever.
Right.
Then the next little level up that has some disposable income, they're eating at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Well, if anything affects their disposable income, they are not eating at McDonald's anymore. Mm-hmm. But the people that are making a lot of money probably aren't going to McDonald's. They're going to Chipotle. Busy soccer moms, maybe going to McDonald's. Just as likely they're going to Chipotle, depending on where they're living, if they're living in suburbs and stuff. So McDonald's does not have the playroom that Walmart does. So they will get hit. If they try to play that too hard and miss on the public sentiment, like, oh, people pay that extra. You go there now. I mean, every time I've gone there in the last couple of years, I'm like, gosh, are you kidding me? I'm going in there and getting a Big Mac meal or something. It's $13.
Yeah.
Like, seriously? And the sandwich looks like a made right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what is that? That's not a Big Mac.
No hate against
it's a little Mac. No, made rights though are known that. You go there and you buy one, you buy two for now it's up to $3.50, but you buy two of them for like $3.50 each. So you $7 and you buy two. Well, that would be at least as much as that Big Mac.
Yeah.
But also it's not a Big Mac. It's got its own little niche,
That's interesting because, what you said about, the people who are in that lower bracket that would still eat out. CEO of McDonald's, Chris Kempczinski. Is that how you pronounce it? I think it's Kempczinski. Yes.
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I've never heard it pronounced.
It's Polish. So.
Oh, then it's probably Smith.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. Polish name.
I think whatever. I think it's Kempczinski.
You're the Polish one. You should it's not genetic how to pronounce Polish names when you just have Polish blood.
Hey, I looked at it. I think that's how you say it.
There you go. I'm going to take
your word. I'm better than I think most people would try to.
Okay, I'm taking your word for it then.
So he was addressing because McDonald's missed their sales expectations for the first time in 4 years.
Saw that.
So he said, I don't know if you ever read any response to him from him to that. He said, I think what you're going to see as you head into 2024 is probably more attention to what I would describe as affordability. He said that in their earnings call.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they, like you said, with Walmart, gambled on public opinion and got hit pretty hard.
Yes. Yes. So now they're going to backtrack.
They're going to, that's the thing, is they have the power to do so.
Yeah. Because you don't know what their numbers were. You don't know what their margins have been all this time.
Yes. And he did attribute it a little bit to because every McDonald's is independently operated.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, I can't, but yeah.
Yeah,
I can promise you that they can put some pressure.
Now they can set the menu.
Yeah.
And what he said, one of his solutions that they can definitely do is reintroducing dollar menu items.
Yeah.
That they have gotten rid of since COVID.
Yeah.
And never brought back. There's a few I would assume, but yeah, they said that as a corporation, they'll reintroduce a lot of dollar menu items. It says he admitted for customers making $45,000 annually, he said this, it's cheaper for them to just stay home and cook.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That McDonald's, it's cheaper for you to stay home and cook than go to McDonald's.
This guy is the overlord of food.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he
as
is
McDonald's goes, everything goes.
The authority when it comes to food in terms of economics.
Sure.
Not health or whatever.
No.
Just strictly numbers.
Yeah.
The CEO of McDonald's, along with his cohorts and his, his peers, know more about the food system economically than anybody. And he said that it's cheaper to stay home and cook for people who earn $45,000 annually.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to one of my friends. How much he makes, I wouldn't even wager a guess, but it doesn't matter. We were having a discussion about it being cheaper to eat healthy rather than eat junk food.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say eat healthy, what I mean is like pretty much strictly cooking at home. And when I say cooking, I don't mean making a frozen pizza that you put in the oven.
Yeah.
I mean like cooking something.
Cooking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prep.
And he was like, I've done it. I've tried it, and I can guarantee you it's not. And I was like, hold on, what were you doing? Like you have to be wrong right now. I'm sorry, but you're just wrong. And he's one of my best friends. So like we talk to each other like this all the time.
No, I get it.
I was like, no, dude, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? And he brought up I think there were 3 or 4 of us talking. We brought up like Chipotle. He was like, yeah, I could go to Chipotle for this, and I would do this every day rather than cook Chipotle for myself, and arguing that was cheaper. And I don't know exactly what your personal food budget looks like. So like if you cut out fast food entirely and only cooked for yourself, potentially I think there is a world where it could cost more to do that. But it depends on what you're buying.
Yes.
Now, like, are you getting your fix on fats and sugars that you aren't getting now from fast food by buying fats and sugars from the store to supplement it? Like, what is your snack cake consumption?
Doritos, yeah.
Well, yeah. What's your like?
All the junk.
Pop-Tarts. You can't tell me if you eat chicken, broccoli, and rice every day, and that's all you eat. It's more expensive than going to Chipotle.
There's no way. No possible way. What people don't take into consideration is they think because they're looking at their bill. Yeah. They don't think about the yield.
No, we talked about that. We did, obviously.
Sure, of course. But I mean, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. They're like, man, I went to the store and to get stuff to make subs, and it cost me $34. I could have went to Subway. Yeah, and had one sub. And if you do it right, the ones you went to the store and paid $34, you could have 6.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh yeah,
it is. I mean, there is that. That's
right.
not always the case, but yes, that is a factor.
Now,
that sometimes
I think that does tie into what you said about coffee shops and people going to sweets to satisfy a certain
to get for comfort.
Because so what is the You got to think about what's the appeal of spending less at any given time on food. Like you said, the bill. So what's the appeal of if you're living paycheck to paycheck? Obviously, your thought is I should take the cheaper option right now, not take yield over time.
Exactly.
Because all you're focused on is how much of those little comfort things can I buy during my week? How much leftover money do I have to take those little comforts, maybe even every day? Like when you could. So I'm coming at this from a personal perspective because, for a while, I don't really do this much now. I would if I was in a position to still, but I look at my spending. I look at how much I'm spending on food, how much money I have for gas, how much money I have for this, so that at the end of the week, I can, go out to a bar. And how much money do I have at the end of the week to spend at the bar? And play music on touch tunes, because that's what I do. I mean, So
you can use my account, my touch tunes account. I hardly ever use it, so I'll hook you up.
Thanks. So, if you're looking at it from that perspective, then I could see how you would think it'd be better to just go day to day and buy the cheapest fast food option rather than spending a bunch of money on food at once at the grocery store. So you have more at the end of the week to
definitely,
even if that food would last you more than a week, you don't care.
You don't care.
Because
I also think that
now maybe that's just my personal, like that's how I would look at it, because
I think that's what people
I could put myself in that situation pretty easily.
There's also, I believe, and I've read some books on this that I think are quite intriguing and make a compelling case for it. Weekly grocery shopping, the reason that it is such a habit, the reason that it is such something that you have to make yourself do and then stick to it, like build it as a habit and stick to it as a routine and force yourself to do it, and it requires so much self-discipline, is because it goes against everything in your brain.
Ah, that's interesting.
We are hunter-gatherers by nature, and agriculture has not always been a thing, and agriculture is the beginning of settling down. Without agriculture, you couldn't have a town.
Correct.
You certainly couldn't have a city. Agriculture is what enables people to live in communities larger than just nomadic bands. It's what enables that. Somebody is out there rearranging the furniture, but so we are hunter-gatherers by nature, and some of that has not left just because we have agriculture and we have communities now. And so there is a part of us that still, there's something I think primal within us that still gets satisfaction from, well, it's been proven that most food is eaten within 2.5 hours of acquiring it.
Yes.
Most food. So that means whatever it is, whether it's food at home or food away from home, you went to the grocery store, bought it, took it home and made it. You made it within 2.5 hours. Or you go out. So most food is consumed within 2.5 hours of purchase. So that shows also that tendency toward that primal hunter-gatherer mindset that's just you're wired that way. That's why you're not wired to store up food.
No.
That's why it's in the Bible. This guy was really wise beyond his years. He stored up in the times of plenty for the times of need. Well, there's a reason why he's written about. Nobody does that.
Because
why are you so famous?
Your brain, your internal biology is such that you see nutrition, you put it into your body because survival.
Exactly.
Your brain and your gut biome is still telling you to survive, whether you have to or not.
Exactly.
It's not. Your gut biome is not linked to your phone.
No.
Or the self-checkout at Walmart.
And that's why the convenience aspect is a dangerous trigger. It's something that plays right into kind of like the addictive nature of ultra processed food, the addictive nature of fast food convenience that is peddling that, whether it be at a convenience store, a dollar store, or a fast food restaurant or whatever, that is triggering that. Mm-hmm. It's like almost like a, what's that word? The like a cheat code.
Oh, okay.
It's like a cheat code to your brain.
Yes. No,
like
true, yeah.
And so that could be like, that's why also people will spend more, even though they realize I don't even have it, but they're going to spend it because that's just they're wired to do it. Like, why'd you do that? Well, I don't know. I mean, I've never really thought about it because I wanted it.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool to just ask people like why.
Yeah.
That would be, I think you get a lot of different answers, I think. And you get a lot of really telling ones of just like how society is running right now. If you just like stopped outside of a McDonald's, like stood there right after the drive-through and asked like, why did you get this today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not to be like mean to them,
no.
if you were to just ask,
survey.
Like, yeah,
I'm doing a survey.
Yeah.
For
what made you
Time
stop
magazine.
at McDonald's today? Why'd you stop here?
Yeah.
You get so many different answers, I think, but you could draw pretty interesting conclusions from them.
I bet there would be a lot. I bet even for all the different answers, you would extrapolate them down to a couple different motives. And
that's what I mean. Yeah.
I think that if you did that over time, you would crush the drive-through traffic at McDonald's.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to sit there and talk to you while you're standing there.
No, I don't think like a homeless person with a sign.
Like, yeah, you're driving away their business.
We'll work for food. No, you avoid that lane. Like, I was going to turn left till I saw that homeless person. Now I'm going to turn right and go around 4 blocks, whatever. Yeah. No, I mean, C.S. Lewis wrote, the quickest way to overcome an addiction or a habit is to focus on the habit rather than the object of affection. So,
sure.
If I find myself loving cocaine, the quickest way to break the habit of loving cocaine is to change my focus to, why do I love cocaine? Mm-hmm. And eventually you'll fall out of love with cocaine.
Yeah.
Like,
interesting.
Focus on the process, not the outcome. And you will over time come to your senses. It's like a wake-up call. It's like, oh, now obviously things that have physical addictive properties are a little different, but most things are mentally addictive, at least as much or more so than they are physically addictive. The withdrawals, the mental withdrawals, are more than the shakes. So, of almost anything.
Yeah.
So live without your cell phone for 5 minutes. Like, you're going through, it looks like heroin withdrawals, So I think that if you did that, though, if you stopped outside of, or if you would ask people outside of a McDonald's, why'd you do that? They would be, it's almost like the trance is broken.
Yeah.
Why did I do? Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I mean, I just stopped here because this is what you do. You see the sign and you're just mindless eating. You're just mindless flip on the turn signal. And once the turn signal's on, that's triggered my brain to turn. And before I know it, I'm in the line. I'm not getting out. And I wasn't even really that hungry. Like, it's 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Like, it really is at this point a compounding of convenience that I think has led to a lot of McDonald's success. And really, I mean, just fast food and food related in general. The fact that I can just go into my wallet and pull out a card and just hand it to them, and they hand it back to me with a receipt in 10 seconds.
No doubt.
I don't have to count. I don't have to even pay attention to what the number is on the screen.
No.
They say my meal is $12, $14. Doesn't matter. I don't have to
even listen.
I don't have to do math at all. And that I know it's not hard to like pull a 10 and a 5 out for $14, but that is literally, it makes a difference. That is 1.2 seconds of thought that you don't have to do anymore.
Yep.
You just pull the card out and hand it to them.
If that wasn't valuable, Amazon couldn't have patented one click. They literally patented a trade, like this will kill our business if we don't have exclusive rights to this. We deserve this. We built it. We earned it. We discovered it. We should be able to pay one click. Oh yeah.
That's interesting because now
everybody else has to have 2 clicks.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I've never seen one click anywhere.
No, and it's not just a term. It's not just a trademark term. One click. It's the process. It's the process. You are not allowed to have one click of a buying process.
Insane.
There's like another window, another pop-up, another something.
How is that even legal?
I don't even know.
How do you legally patent that you can only click one time on this thing?
I don't know. It's Amazon. I don't know.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
How do you stay in business for 20 some years and never make money delivering products?
Be Amazon. host all of the internet.
Yeah, that's what you do. So that's pretty fascinating, though. The McDonald's thing has intrigued me for a couple of weeks because I've been reading that ever since their earnings call, and they divulged some of their things that I was like, that verifies a lot of the thoughts that we have in general.
Yeah, the kind of things that we have been talking about for the last 6 weeks that we've been doing this podcast.
Nothing I'm seeing contradicts it. It just bolsters it.
It bolsters it.
Like you're like, oh, I would expect that.
It means that more people than just you and I have seen it.
Yes, exactly.
Which, I mean, we knew obviously, but enough to make a dent in McDonald's profits. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, in my mind, that's why I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, I think that the fast casual is what's going to survive because people just, if you're not eating McDonald's, you've got to be pretty broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And
we're talking ramen noodles from dollar store.
Yeah. And he did mention that, or one of the articles I read did mention that like the lower bracket is not going to McDonald's.
And the thing is that, see, they were not the ones going to Chipotle either, though. Yeah. They were going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Their choices on McDonald's are probably ramen from dollar store or something, you know, and I've been there. I mean, I've lived in that world. So more than I've not. So I'm not like denigrating that at all. I'm just observing that that's probably the case. And the ones that are still able to eat Chipotle, that's what they were preferring to begin with. And they still have some level of disposable income. So that's why the other ones are dropping faster. So that's why fast food is dropping quicker than fast casual. Eventually, fast casual may catch up. Like they may continue to drop too. Yeah. My suspicion is they won't, because people will always want some level of convenience and quality. And let's face it, wealthy people will almost always be wealthy.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to squash generational wealth.
I should say this: wealthy people with jobs,
sure,
middle class job holding people, will almost always be middle class job holding people.
Yeah.
Like business people that are in that they float, and it's been proven over and over. Entrepreneurs, they float in and out of income classes their whole life. Like wealth is not static at the level of business owner. It is just hit or miss, feast or famine. But if you are middle class in a job, especially in like a steady industry, then you will probably continue to be there. And so you will probably continue to be able to eat out. And if you have a certain level of income, it's also been proven you eat a certain level of food. And so fast casual fits that bill better than Arby's.
Yes.
Even though Arby's would try to be the more the bridge between those, because, meat based and would supposedly be more, quality or whatever, things like that, So I think that the whole point of middle class, my money would be in fast casual. I mean, because I just don't think the middle class is going anywhere. There would have to be some quick, very painful depression.
Yeah.
I mean, because by then also you're habituated, right? So like the middle class, they have wealth, but they also have income. They are the biggest income earners. So so generally when there's like a depression or something or a recession, that's affecting investments more so than income immediately. And so, so in other words, doggone, I'm sitting here, I'm a whatever mid-level manager. I'm making $120,000 a year. And so is my wife. So we're making $240,000 a year. And we've got, $1 million in our 401k, and the stock market just lost 40%. So doggone, man, I'm down $400,000. But you're not.
But not
because you're not
functionally.
Not at all. Not functionally. Someday down the road, you might notice that.
You might notice it.
But right now, no. I'm still making $240,000 a year. I'm still going to Chipotle. Doggone it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to complain to my wife and I over Chipotle are going to complain we lost 40% in our 401k.
Yeah. And
how soon is it supposed to bounce back?
Yeah.
Like that is that's what I would gamble on. If I'm in food service, particularly food away from home service, that's the target to me.
Sure.
I don't understand this idea. Why would you drive a race to the bottom? Mm-hmm. Why would your fundamental foundational market be people that can't afford your product?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
In other words, Roots Deli.
Yeah.
There are people that with the way that we make our food and the sourcing and all of those things and the quality and all of that they would think, oh, that's expensive. Well, there are people though that afford it and value it and choose it over other options.
Yeah.
The problem is that we're in an area where there's not enough of those people. Right. If we were in an area where that was all there was, there would be no talk about what our prices are. People would just come in and buy it.
Yeah.
If we were in a suburb somewhere where that was just the median income. So
sure.
And so that's what I mean. But like McDonald's, it doesn't matter where they're at. Their target is always going to be
always the same.
Yeah. And so I don't understand why you would deliberately build a business model that the margins are deliberately by design the lowest.
Well, it worked out for them.
It worked out for them because they own the ground.
Yeah, because they own everything.
It worked out for them because they own the real estate.
Yep.
But it didn't work out for them because that business model worked.
No,
it didn't.
No.
They found a different business model.
No.
Yeah,
it's for sure. Oh, let me see here. Something you said.
Yeah, you were looking up something there fervently while I was talking. Vehemently.
Yeah.
Frivolously.
Frivolously. I would call it more frivolous than anything, honestly. No, but this Purdue survey that they did, it was a survey they did to like 1,200 people across the country, mostly about like New Year's resolutions and what people are focusing on. I think because they probably knew what that would look like. 25% of consumers responded yes when asked if they had any food or nutrition related New Year's resolutions.
How many? I'm sorry.
25%.
Okay.
That's up 6% from last year when asked the same question. Let's see. There was something you said that made me think of, like, I read this article earlier and something popped out at me. 46% anticipated food cravings is an obstacle, of course. The cravings for, something that fix.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a large percentage. And I probably would too, I would think. Like if I had a New Year's resolution for food, I would probably say cravings is a pretty bad obstacle for that.
Yeah. Undisciplined eating would be my
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it.
Middle of the day and I'm looking forward to going down and getting a pint of ice cream from Motley Shop. Like, why is that in my head? Like, what? It's 4:00 in the afternoon. I'm thinking about going to Motley Shop, getting ice cream for 8:00. Like,
oh, this was the fun one. Okay, I found it. This made me laugh when I read it. Okay. So the USDA has a 5-point scale from poor to excellent on diet.
Okay.
Purdue researchers found that 84% of consumers rate their diet as good, very good, or excellent.
How many?
84% of people. I shouldn't have said that while you were drinking that. You guys are lying. Whoever took that survey, 84%. I would be lying if I said that. Absolutely. Okay, so the next awareness,
because you know why?
Okay, yeah.
Hold your thought.
Yeah.
Because they believe the nutrition labels.
That's probably true.
They might actually believe that because they've been lied to by nutritionism.
Okay, that could be true. Now, but I don't know. So let me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine.
I threw that out into the world.
That's a good point.
It's possible
that might make it even worse.
Okay,
well, like that could make the number worse if you brought in unconventional thinking, because it's Purdue. It's Purdue, the USDA. They're using conventional metrics here.
Sure.
And even they said 84% of people thought that. As opposed to thought that their diet was good, very good, or excellent. If you took it out of conventional terms and stopped, and like you said, even scrutinize the FDA approved nutrition labels, like your number of people that think they're eating healthy but aren't would be more than that, because because your nutrition label,
that's true.
Okay, well, so anyway, what I'm saying, awareness of the guidelines is a good sign, but when we look at what Americans actually eat compared to the recommendations in the guidelines, again, this is USDA guidelines. The grade on the scale to 100 would be closer to a 58 or F plus. Quote, so it looks like people might have an optimistic view of their diets.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. Yeah. That's interesting. That is very interesting. What do you think about that?
So what made me think of that is when you said that people like might be looking, what'd you say? It was about the McDonald's thing. People might be looking more at what they're eating, or you would start to, if you asked people why they were eating they would start to think about it, maybe.
Yeah. And it would go, the volume of what they buy would go down. Their stops would go down. They would,
but
they would fall out of love with it.
Yes, according to that, maybe it wouldn't.
Yeah, that's true. It might not.
Because if you have only 25% of people in a 1,200 person survey, 25% said something about food in their New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
And I would wager a guess that 1,000 of the 1,200 that were interviewed probably are eating junk.
Are
on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
So they could absolutely give themselves a resolution for food if they so chose.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If that was a priority to you,
of course,
it would be a good priority to have, because it would probably benefit you quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I get that.
So, I mean, 25% of those people. And of those 25% or whatever, their idea of what they're eating is just very skewed. Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, their self-perception of their diet. However, that's why it's so hard, because like I don't really judge other people's eating. People might think I do. I don't. At all.
No, I eat.
I
really
don't.
bad,
I mean,
honestly.
I don't judge what I eat very much. Like,
That's what I mean.
I don't judge what other people eat at all. Like, in other words, I talk about Doritos right now. So people might think, oh my gosh, if I can't eat Doritos in front of Darby because he'll think I'm an idiot. That's not at all the case. I don't think that at all. I think that people just need to be made aware of what they're eating and what's in it and whatnot. But even that, if you choose to, I mean, there are whole groups, there's a large percentage of the population that would say that you shouldn't drink. And
sure,
I drink, and they could point out things about drinking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that would say you shouldn't smoke cigars, and I smoke cigars. And there's a lot of people that would point out all the health things associated with cigars. And I still would smoke them. I will still smoke them, even though, I know all those things. I also know that I'm more likely to die in a car wreck, not from my own hands, but somebody else's. And I still chose to get on the road today multiple times.
Yeah.
So, and so I don't judge the way other people eat or what it's doing to them or anything else. Like I think about these concepts and stuff, and I think about them more from the perspective of the people that are providing them than the people that are using them. But in my mind, I think that I have a pretty decent, I would fit into that, probably into that fraction of people. I mean, I think
your diet's good.
I think it's fair. I don't know that it's like
I haven't read the guidelines. I didn't look at.
Well, I mean, but also, I think.
So I don't know.
Also, though, I think if you're going by the FDA guidelines or whatever USDA guidelines, those they're skewed.
That's
anyway.
What I was saying.
They're skewed to nutritionism.
If you actually took the nutritionism out of it, it would be so insane.
No, I can't have my ribeye. I can't have because they're gonna say, well, so many ounces of red meat and all that stuff, and cholesterol at this level, and all those things, which I think are baloney. That's all nutritionism. Yeah. That's not even science, but that's religion. But
right.
I just think that overall, I would fit into that number.
Interesting. I don't think that, and you might eat differently than I do. I have no idea.
I think I eat pretty bad at times, but I also think I eat good at others. And I think if you leverage it all out,
you think that
I could be maybe a solid B.
Really?
Not an F plus, but not an A. Probably like a middle of the road C.
Huh. I would legitimately put my diet as like, I said it was a 5-point scale. I don't know what the scale was, but it was poor to excellent.
Okay.
I would put mine the next above poor. Like I was thinking about it as I was reading that.
I would put mine in the middle.
Really?
3. I would say 3. You're saying you put
good.
2.
I think good was probably 3 because it was good, very good, or excellent.
Oh, okay.
85% of people consider themselves good, very good, excellent. So I don't know what the one between good and poor is, but I'm probably that one. There is a level right there. I don't know what they didn't say what it's called, but I'm right there.
Okay. Interesting. That is interesting.
In my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I could be doing a lot more.
I agree with that. You could always, though. I guess it's just, I think that it proves the point that we are just, there's an optimism to the way people think about what themselves in general.
Yeah. That might be true.
You have low self-esteem.
I do.
I'm just kidding.
Well, that's I absolutely do.
Kidding,
but actually, that's an interesting thing. I have low self-esteem, but I have high self-esteem about my low self-esteem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. You're proud of
I'm proud of my self-awareness.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
There you go.
But yeah, I think that I eat McDonald's twice a week probably.
Okay. Yeah, I don't at all.
Yeah. See, I mean, I eat McDonald's twice a week.
And especially
maybe once
when we discuss it, it's like, okay. Yeah. No, I get that.
Maybe Subway once. Like I would say McDonald's and Subway because there's the only 2 places here in town. Like that convenience level. I would say that I could say between the 2 of those twice a week.
Okay.
I mean, I make myself food quite a bit.
Yeah,
but it's pretty. This is the thing. It's pretty consistently the same thing over and over and over.
I get that. There's not a lot of
diversity.
You're not eating the rainbow. No, I get that. Okay, I understand.
And I think that not enough people who took that survey, or maybe in general, or probably even the USDA guidelines, would tell you that variety is as important as it is. That requires a lot of unconventional science, a lot of unconventional food science, or unaccepted by.
However, variety if you're eating crap, variety is incredibly important because
if you're not,
you got to vary the crap. But if you're not eating crap, your body is adapted to get by. I mean, think about Inuits and Eskimos and stuff that get by on literally 80-90% fish.
Mm-hmm.
They eat fish all, and they get everything they need from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like between that and the sun part of the year, they're living to be normal age of mortality. So it is weird, isn't it, that you can adapt. Your body is capable of adapting, but just not capable of adapting. And there's a rare case where your body's capable of adapting to Big Macs every day for 50 years.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a rare case. I think it's you didn't die.
Yeah.
I mean, like people are, obviously you have more health risks included if you're eating a Big Mac every day.
Yes.
There was a documentary done on that. Everyone knows what it is.
Yeah. No, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the amount of people who do that consistently are not dying at 40.
No.
Not across the board, not even in alarming numbers.
No.
So
I think they're just living very poorly from 30 to 40.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. But I think the human body has adapted quite a bit, because I don't think people realize how bad that stuff is that you're putting into your body. The human body, if you were to, okay, so say you went back in time, say you had a time machine and you somehow had a way to produce Big Macs like you can now, and you went back to whatever, the year 500 in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had the way to produce Big Macs, and you made you had a whole town that was eating they would die. They would die so fast. I mean, their bodies would not be acclimated at all.
It would literally be like maybe that's possible. Like
just the proteins and
your body's just not adapted to it.
The bread product that they use.
Their systems be.
So you're telling me, okay, so the gluten intolerance and gluten allergies did not exist.
No,
that was not a thing until
it's modern. It's the way they modernly process the wheat.
Yeah. And so how a child can be born gluten intolerant now?
Yes.
Or either born, or I mean, I don't know if it comes from birth or the nursing process or it's
those things are passed on. Sure. They're passed on. Your ability, that's the evolution, right? Or the adaptation through generations. Yeah. So eventually people will be, unfortunately, maybe people will eventually be adapted to eat nothing but Big Macs. It's just going to be a painful process to get there over the course of years. I don't know.
But yeah,
I mean, the body's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It would get boring.
We've talked about it. I've thought about it. I will stand by till the day I die that you would kill people if you brought Big Macs back to.
No, I think that's true. No, I believe that. I think
that's kind of a hyperbolic statement.
Yes, but no. But there are aspects of it because if
over 2 generations, you can introduce a gluten intolerance to
where it didn't exist
at all. Totally, if you went back 1,000 years and introduced Big Macs, you would probably start killing people.
There's a book that I'm reading right now called Metabolical, and I mean, it's just written by it's written by a very a very qualified person. I mean, he's a doctor, and he was I think he was an endocrinologist, but I don't remember exactly all of his degrees, but his undergraduate specialty was like the process of food absorption and whatnot. So like biochemistry with the emphasis in food. And so he knows those things. And so basically he was saying that there is no, outside of communicable diseases, there is no disease that man is currently suffering from that cannot be fixed with food. And that food is the only thing that can fix it. Medicines can treat symptoms. They can't fix the problem because the problem is diet. Food is the only thing that can fix it.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, well, then you have to learn to eat differently. And if you have to eat differently, then you have to get to a point where the food that you have access to is different.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got high blood pressure or diabetes, you got diabetes. Well, then how are you going to eat differently if all you have access to are diabetic inducing foods?
Yeah.
The food is the problem. So no, you can get a surgery. You can get your leg amputated. You can get medicines that might counteract it or take insulin or do these other things, but that's not solving the problem. It's masking symptoms.
Yeah.
Eventually you will die from it.
Right.
Your misguided relationship with food is killing you, and doctors come along and help you live with that. That's what's happening.
What's the book called again?
Metabolical, which is a combination of the word metabolism and diabolical, because he says that it's deliberate. His argument is everybody knows this. It's happening anyway. There's too
Yeah.
much money to be made. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like everybody lives, everybody dies, make money, doesn't matter. That's what he says the system currently is.
Right.
Like
food,
medicine, government, all three, a cobble, they all know it. There's too much information out there to not know it. Everybody knows it, even the ones that and the ones even the ones that are involved in it intimately and making money from it are also the users of it. It's like a drug dealer using his own stash.
His own supply, yeah.
Like that's what it is. It's just a giant conspiracy. We want what we want, and that's how it works. So that's kind of interesting. It's interesting, and
I don't know how YouTube works still. And on the back end, I will see about linking that.
Oh yeah, it'd be cool.
I'll try to link it.
It's fascinating. Very fascinating.
Or up here somewhere. I don't know how it works, but yeah, I'll try to do that because that does sound very interesting. Very fascinating.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of neat that, but also when you think about it from the perspective of the diet, like what you were saying with the percentage of people, the idea, most people are basing their idea of how good their diet is on the realm of possibilities available to them.
Exactly. Well, that's the omnivore's dilemma.
I have a good diet because I eat some fruits and vegetables every now and then. I try to stay away from a bunch of red meat. I only do this, that, or the other. I mean, in other words, you're giving yourself a next to poor number because you eat McDonald's a couple times a week. There are people that would eat McDonald's more than that, but also throw in a salad every once in a while and would give themselves a better score. So maybe it's just the fact that you have a more realistic understanding of what's happening in the food system.
So I take very seriously like what all of the research that Michael Pollan has done when he says the optimal human diet, we're omnivores, our optimal diet with how food is grown right now and the nutrition value that's in it, which has greatly decreased since the 50s.
Definitely. No question.
I mean, the nutrition value of your food is way lower now than it was then.
The soils are depleted. They can't transfer nutrients into the plants that they don't have.
Yeah, so exactly.
Your food has less nutrition. A carrot now is less nutritious than a carrot 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. Categorically across the board, every food group.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I mean,
you can say that with 100%.
That is 100% science. Yeah. That's not just speculation. That is proven.
Yeah.
There's less nutrition in your food now than there was.
Absolutely. Even 10 years ago, probably. Yeah. It gets progressively worse every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take it seriously when he does all of this research and reads other people who have done research and compiles it all together and says the ideal human diet is 90% plant-based, 10% meat-based. That is now, the ideal diet.
And that's and that is interesting that you bring that up because here's something that's pretty cool. The author of Metabolical is friends with Michael Pollan and makes that clear. He's like, but it's funny because he would bring up the fact of, I don't know that he did yet, but like the people that eat primarily meat diets, like, and they're still healthy. He has a different one. He said, protect your liver, feed your gut.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it with food.
Interesting.
Eat food that protects your liver. In other words, don't poison yourself, and eat foods that feed your gut.
Step one.
No. In a level though, I mean, I don't, but I don't think that's always, I don't think
right.
But yeah, I mean, everybody says that though. They don't realize, oh, your liver, everybody associates liver with alcohol. And it's like, well, your liver is literally cleaning the McDonald's out of your system.
Is everything.
It's cleaning the Doritos and Twinkies out of your system.
I mean, McDonald's. Like, alcohol is
like,
the reason alcohol is so bad for your liver is because people drink it so much.
Yeah.
It's only bad for your liver if you abuse it.
Yeah. No, his argument is fatty liver disease. Basically, he used this disgusting example. He said, basically, people are making foie gras of themselves. Like,
oh yeah,
they're fattening up their liver with the way that with the diet they eat.
Yeah.
Like and fatty liver disease is on a rise dramatically. And like, yeah, he's just like, if you would just follow those two rules, feed your gut, in other words, the biome in your gut, and protect your liver, like health issues would go away. Chronic health issues would go away.
Yeah.
Non-communicable ones
would
just go away. Like that's fascinating.
No, yeah,
but yeah. So anyway,
okay. So this is what's interesting. There's a lot of, you say that as like a blanket statement, and he does. I mean, you're saying that he says that as a blanket statement.
Yeah, that's not me.
There are specific. I don't read a lot, to be honest. I dabble. I'll start like half a book and then I'll stop reading it and then think I'll go back to it. And I don't. But I did read part of a book.
Good.
This was years ago. It was called Brain Food, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about one, hydration of the brain, how important hydration is, and how not all water is the same at all. Like your purified water is nowhere near as good for you hydration wise, and for your cognizant thinking and how fast your brain processes things. Purified water is awful for your brain compared to even tap water.
Interesting.
Because it's unfiltered and there are minerals which are passed into your brain that help it work, because water gets in there like right away. Your brain, when it comes to chemicals, when a chemical hits that, there's a thing that lets a chemical into your brain and stops it. That water is allowed in with
blood-brain barrier.
Yeah, blood-brain barrier. Yeah. Water is allowed in, no questions asked. It's like TSA, just like you just got the free pass. You're allowed in. Like you don't have to even.
You don't get groped.
Yeah, you don't get groped. You don't get checked.
They're not checking your bags.
Water is just let into the brain.
And so also things that are in water would by nature at some level probably be able to get through. Not probably everything, but some things.
So it started with with hydration, and then it kind of worked its way into diet and food. And all of it was a culmination of, this is basically how Alzheimer's came about and rapidly grew, was because your hydration and your diet is so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the book linking Alzheimer's to diet.
Yeah. Dementia is a big one that is diet related. They just prove that so many levels.
But it doesn't even really get talked about. And it's almost, maybe not so much now, but like 5-10 years ago, I would read things about it that was like naysayed, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, no, that's ridiculous. How in the world can your diet make you forget things?
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. Dude. Your diet is the only source of anything coming into you. If you never ate after you're born, you die immediately. If you stop eating now, over time, you die. Your body eats itself from the inside and then you die. It's the source of life. Why would you assume that diet doesn't cause everything in your life? Depression, all of it. The only thing that you are is a collection of chemicals that come from the minerals and the nutrients from what you're eating.
Point. I love
it. It's not coming from anywhere else.
That's a great point.
You either sniffed it or you ate it.
Yep.
So that's how it's getting in.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything that's happening in your entire body is just because of what you put into it. And the only thing you put into it is food.
Yes. Or food-like substances that you've been told are healthy or good for you or not harmful to you. At least that's the thing. It's not harmful. That's a strange standard.
But they got to pick what harmful meant.
They do, and they still do.
And
they get to generally recognize things as safe without even sending it in. It's amazing. Yeah, there's so
much.
Oh yeah,
they have to. Yeah, no, we can go into that another day. That's a whole lot.
But no, it's funny though that when you think about it, like people are like, oh well. Depression. I mean, food has been linked to depression.
Yeah, that's one that everyone
gut biome has been linked to mental things, anxiety, fear, depression, all sorts of things.
Yeah, the depression one, people are definitely okay with accepting that depression is linked very heavily to food.
Sure.
The Alzheimer's one's different though, because it's a degenerative disease.
Yes.
And everyone's like, okay, that has to be something external that has nothing to do with your choices.
How you know it's not a deficiency?
You can't make choices that affect if you get Alzheimer's. It's not up to you.
Yeah.
And you're just the unlucky one that got it.
Yes, exactly.
And it takes all responsibility and all responsibility from you personally for choosing to eat the way you did, but also all responsibility from the system that built the food that you're eating.
And the reason that they do that is because there is such a divergent what's the word? I don't know. There's such a diverse see, I have it. I need to eat better. I'm losing my mind. Totally. I just I need to eat a steak like quickly. I need more iron. No, there is like there's such a diverse appearance across people that eat the same. In other words, they present different things. So I could eat exactly like you eat, exactly down to everything. You'll get one disease, I'll get another one, or I'll get a disease and you won't get one at all.
Yeah.
And so, but then that's not proof that it wasn't diet that did it, and just that bodies are so resilient that they react and respond differently and in different ages. And there's no proof that nobody is doing such long-term research that you wouldn't get the same thing if you lived an extra 50 years. Maybe you would get Alzheimer's if you lived an extra 50 years. Maybe you got killed in a car wreck.
Right.
And we all would have Alzheimer's at the end.
Yeah.
We would never know.
Yeah.
And so that, I think, is something. Just like some people will gain weight eating the exact same diet, other people will lose weight. Mm-hmm. There are genetic markers and stuff, things that are just anomalies in people that just cause that. So that's why I think people are so reluctant to say food causes Alzheimer's, because it doesn't cause Alzheimer's in everyone. So therefore, you can't say it like that. But when you get to the heart of it, what else could it be?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what the correlation does not equal causation.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that you can't make, this is what it comes down to, is the science for food and the science for, climate and the science, all this, it comes down to people are paid to make science that can make policy happen.
For the sake of money.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But
right. What I'm saying is, though, that it's very hard to make policy decisions based on diet can cause Alzheimer's, and probably has over time. Like you said, you can't make policy based on you might get it and I won't, even though we both eat the same, because policy has to be legally, it has to be level playing field. And how is it fair that I get my junk food taken away because you got Alzheimer's and I didn't? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's why I understand why the science doesn't go there, because the science is dictated by the government.
But cigarettes would be the same thing. Some people can smoke a pack a day their whole life, and
right,
they live to a ripe old age. They have some really discolored skin and stink, but like, or like they just smell like cigarettes. You start to smell like that over time. And so, but there's there's other people that had lung cancer. And so you're like, look at how long it took for anyone, including the government and public opinion, to switch and say, this does cause lung cancer. And just because it doesn't mean that some people shouldn't be allowed to smoke them. It's my choice if I want to get lung cancer or not. Mm-hmm. And actually, that's how they ended up going at it. They ended up going at it with the government.
I wonder,
it's not fair that the taxpayer has to pay for somebody's lung cancer when they did it from smoking.
So that's interesting.
That's how they actually did it.
It was. Now I don't know how.
That's why the states get. I think
we're pretty long on time. It's fine. I'm gonna bring this up anyway. I wonder, because I expect this to go quickly, because I don't actually want to dive into this. This is a hypothetical that I just want to throw out.
Coming up for next time.
No, we will not.
This is like a Taylor Swift. What do they call those? The little things that are hidden or whatever.
The Easter egg?
This is an Easter egg for a future episode. What is it?
I don't
Go ahead.
know that it is.
Oh.
Because this, okay,
never mind. Just forget forget what I said.
It might be, because honestly, one of my goals of this is to be a little more controversial, because that gets clicks, guys. It just does. Controversy gets clicks. Anyway, so do you think that under today's current political climate, that cigarettes would have ever gotten the treatment that it got?
I don't know. What do you mean?
So
positively or negatively, or what?
Negative. So cigarettes got negatively impacted by people and policy together.
Yeah.
Like you said, coming together to negatively impact the industry of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Because it was inherently doing bad. Do you think under today's political and civil climate that cigarettes would have gotten that much?
No, I think that,
or do you think that anyone who would have thought that way
would have gotten
demonized?
Oh,
like if you
would have got killeried? Trying to be more controversial. You say,
kill. I don't think that's even controversial at this point. Everyone just agrees.
That's
like, dude, have you seen the list? Have you seen the list?
That's more proven than that McDonald's is bad for you.
Oh, it is.
It's more of a truism.
That's what's funny is like a lot of my I have a lot of friends who are right leaning, a lot of friends who are left leaning, I'd say.
Sure.
And both sides are like, dude, have you seen the list?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Clinton list?
It's pretty that whole correlation versus causation. It's like, eventually something gets hit. Like, good Lord.
People have dropped
the
worst
barbell
thing
on
to
ever be as a friend of Clinton's. Like, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
But or even an acquaintance. Don't be on their radar.
Don't be their lawyer.
But no, I mean, would anything happen today? And I think that it's doubtful, because I think that everything is getting more. They're getting more slippery. I just feel like.
What do you mean?
I feel like they're being trained. I feel like what happened to them, they immediately, you got to realize that they've learned from it. They've gotten slicker. You got to realize that most of those tobacco companies are also food companies. The same Philip Morris and they Kraft, Heinz, like they all own all of them. So the bigger parent companies of those companies own the food too. And most of them, when tobacco started to decline, jumped even further into food. And so they're learning as they go, and they're like, oh, well, this is what happened with this. So no, they are just like tobacco companies now are workers with you for your lung health by putting on the package, don't smoke this. Mm-hmm. They are also, the food companies are workers with you by agreeing that, oh, you know what? The bad thing right now, this year's bad thing is cholesterol. Next year's bad thing is going to be sugar. What are we going to do? We're going to provide you with products that are neatly packaged that are low cholesterol this year. Next year, we're all going to jump on the low sugar bandwagon and give you a bunch of chemical loaded sugar-free options. And then the year after that, we're going to say that you need more fiber. And so we're going to give you this boosted fiber option of Oreo cookies. And it's slick as can be. Oh, it's evilly slick. And I think I think that it was a perfect moment in time that it just happened. But no, I think right now, if it was brought about the same knowledge and all that, I don't know that I think cigarettes would still be chugging along strong. But it does prove that public opinion can switch, because now people give you dirty looks if you try to light up about anywhere. It's like, God, they're a smoker. And I don't ever do that, but I see it being in restaurant stuff. People, they're like, if they go outside and smoke or whatever, I mean, sometimes people will judge them for it.
But a lot less people smoke now.
I know. So it has hit.
It's rare. Like, honestly, it's rare to see a cigarette smoker.
But I think that's why it has to happen at the public opinion level, not the policy level.
It's not rare to see nicotine users.
No,
vapes. Vapes. Literally, I would say that probably vapes 1-to-1 took over cigarettes.
Yes, that's what happened.
I don't think that they're more prevalent than cigarettes were back in the day.
Yeah,
probably, maybe not less prevalent, maybe because people are more health conscious now than they were back then because of freedom, like information. Yeah. But people are still using hot nicotine.
Sure. We're gonna have to talk more about that one. I think that's a really interesting, fascinating thing, because I do think, at the policy level, I don't know that it would have happened the way it's happened.
And you were coming. I would like to talk about it more for sure. And we're going to cut this off in a second. But you were coming at it, just a preview, I guess. We're going to preview this.
Yes, we're going to preview.
You were coming at it from.
We did not commit suicide, by the way. Just tell me.
What?
Well, in case we get killeried for what we've said earlier.
Oh yeah. I was so lost. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, true. Oh, man. You were coming at it from the level of, the companies learned from it, and the companies are being slick.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't say too much, but my brain is kind of working to put that along with my own thoughts about it. I think that the court of public opinion right now is so much different than it was back then anyway. So even if they weren't as slick, I think right now people's perceptions of what's going on and what is people's perceptions of what is fair and what's right and what's morally correct are so much different now than they were back then. Like almost a 180 flip.
Interesting.
So I think that
hearing that.
Yeah. That's why I think it would. Yeah. So now you kind of getting what I'm saying a little bit.
No.
Okay. Well, your eyes lit up to a different.
No, they lit up to what you're saying. I just haven't drawn those. I haven't connected those dots.
And I think that my thoughts and your thoughts on it are actually very deeply connected.
Oh, I was thinking
after you said your side of it, I was like, oh yeah, no, that probably makes sense.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to what you're saying because I'm not quite following it perfectly, so I'm looking forward to that one.
All right, well, we'll get there next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Give you guys a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I appreciate.
Now I got to go eat a steak because I did forget some things there.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. Y'all have a great day.